From Mamma Mia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Laura Brodnick.
And I'm Tina Burke.
And coming up on the show today is something we have been desperate to talk about since this weekend where we were frantically messaging each other. So you were messaging me and
And you ignored me.
No, I said I get really stressed out when like monumental things happen in my life. And the Disney, no, I'm serious. It was too much. It was just kept coming and coming.
Yeah,
and
it was
coming.
amazing.
We're talking about D23, Disney's version of like a Comic-Con, or
Yeah,
they
D23
do
Expo.
Yeah, D23 Expo. They do all their big announcements. We had casting announcements. We had amazing celebrity moments. We had movie and TV show updates. I got too overwhelmed. We're going to talk about it today. Guys, even if you think, I'm not excited, I don't care about Disney, you will.
You will, because Disney owns everything.
This is literally everything you're going to be watching and consuming for the next few years.
Yeah.
So buckle up, you need to know.
Yeah.
Plus, we are finally also talking about Nicole Kidman's new Vogue cover for British Vogue. Again, something that consumed us over the weekend. But we had to do our Logie special yesterday.
Well, yes, of course.
So we held all the headlines for today. So we're getting into that because we have many, many thoughts about what she chose to reveal, but also what she did not reveal. But first, just quickly, bit of romance, bit of wedding news. I don't know how much you care about this, but the photos from Jordyn Woods' wedding dropped like late yesterday and I was quite consumed by them. And when they say dropped, I mean she had a wedding outside. She's very famous. Drones.
Attack of the drones.
As far as the eye could see, drones. So we have all the details of all the official photos. So she married Nick star Karl-Anthony Towns. I know he's a beloved man. I don't personally know much about him because he's a sportsman, but he's come into my life via a celebrity, which is how I know all sports people. But people love him.
People love him. I know that too. That's all I know.
And also during the whole Knicks sensation.
He's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
So the reason I know Jordyn is obviously she's a very successful model, it girl, also has her own fashion brand. But the reason I know her and a lot of other people know her is that she grew up being best friends with Kylie Jenner.
Yes.
And she appeared very regularly on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah,
but
grew
also
up on screen.
Really did.
Yeah.
I remember seeing her when she was very, very young. But also she was basically the co-star on Kylie Jenner's spin-off show, Life of Kylie. Remember when all the Kardashians had their own spin-off shows?
I liked the ones where they were like, we're in New York. That was fun.
Yeah. Oh, no. Those are a subsect. Those are like Kim and Kourtney take New York. Khloe
Where'd they go? Miami ones or something?
Yeah,
I remember them
Miami.
being on a boat. Yeah.
Miami was one. New York happened quite a lot. This is Kylie's own spin-off show because she became such a breakout star from the family during the whole King Kylie era. So Jordyn, who like lived in her home, they were inseparable, was a huge star on that show. And then in 2019, some headlines broke. I remember this day. It was crazy. Headlines broke that Jordyn Woods had hooked up with Khloe Kardashian's former partner, but also the father of her daughter, Tristan Thompson. And that blew up everywhere. And it turned out that they had kissed at a party. It looked like the whole Kardashian family was going to take Jordyn Woods down. And it was such a because
really
people,
aggressively and
meanly.
like Khloe Kardashian was tweeting.
Yeah. And also it was also the fans were coming after her. Also, she was like living in Kylie's house. Her income came, a lot of it from being like her
tied
whole,
to that family.
Yeah, her whole life was that family. And so because her dad, who had passed away at the time, I think he passed away when she was 19, had worked on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and was like in the industry, was really good friends with Will Smith. So Jada Pinkett Smith had Jordyn Woods on her show Red Table Talk to kind of clear the air. And on the show, she's like, we just kissed. It was kind of out of my control. We were never going to sleep together. And just a lot of people.
She was a very young woman.
Yeah, she's really young. And a lot of people were like the Smith family and Jada Pinkett Smith coming in kind of almost like saved her.
Yeah.
And then there was a story on the Kardashians, like an episode where you were seeing the aftermath of it all playing out. And some of the girls like Khloe, who was obviously very upset, and Kim were kind of making fun of Jordyn a bit publicly. And then Kylie called them in tears and asked them to stop. Then she and Jordyn stopped being friends. Anyway, a few years ago, Jordyn and Kylie were pictured together and people rejoiced because this is not about cheating gross men or even like famous families. It was like a symbol of like friendship.
Kylie was the one. I mean, Jordyn was the main one I felt sorry for. Kylie was also the one that you did feel sorry for because it was all to do with her older sisters and her best friend having a feud and falling out and it being like such a headline grabbing moment in time. And like you just felt so bad for Jordyn because she just lost a lot in that moment. Yeah.
And she could have been completely and she was publicly ridiculed, but she was also kind of saved a bit when people realized that there's also a grown-ass man and she was a very young woman at a party with like other grown-ass men, and the whole situation was just like very, like everything was against her.
Yeah.
So people were really happy when they saw that Kylie and Jordyn were friends again. They've never gone back to being friends like they were, but like very happy. And when the Knicks won, because obviously Jordan's fiance was on the team, and this whole thing about like she helped the Knicks win because she kept bringing her lucky bag.
Yeah.
There's video of after one of their really big wins of Kylie and Jordyn seeing each other across the basketball court and like running to each other and hugging.
Yeah,
so that was
because
nice.
Timothy Chalamet is the number one Knicks fan, and he is a huge fan of Jordyn Woods' now husband, and also I think was part of that gap being bridged a little bit. Yeah.
So that was nice. Obviously, like the photos of her and her wedding dress are really beautiful, but I'll be more interested when she shares her own photos.
Yeah.
The wedding was beautiful, but it was the A-list guests coming in. Obviously, they had all been asked to wear black, so they were all in black. But yes, we had Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet, which people were very excited about. Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber, Jada Pinkett Smith, Michael B. Jordan, of course, Ben Stiller and Christine Taylor, who are big Knicks fans. And I was just thinking about this scandal that like took over the world years ago that was like Jordyn, Kylie, and also Jada Pinkett Smith. And now all these years later, all of them at this like beautiful wedding together.
Yeah.
Nature is healing.
Nature is healing.
Yes.
And I like to see it. But also, I really like Jordyn Woods, and I feel like she really landed out to have a beautiful life in the end after all that mess.
Yeah. I mean, not to sound cringy, but it just was really nice.
It's really nice.
That's all I'm saying. And sometimes it's nice when nice things happen.
Yeah. So something that people probably know about us but may not is that we're two pretty big Disney adults.
Just a caveat when you say Disney adults. And also, I have no beef with adults who go to Disney and dress up and have the time of their lives.
Yeah.
That is the greatest thing about being an adult, is when you have your money. I'll hear nothing about it, because my single mum school teacher with 4 kids, we weren't going to Disneyland as kids.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Disneyland until I was a full-blown adult, and I saved up my money and flew myself there.
Yeah.
And had the time of my life. And sometimes children don't need everything. But also, just a caveat, when you say Disney adults, you mean that, well, you love going to Disneyland as an adult. I am an adult who loves Disney stuff.
Yeah.
As in a cinematic
We're both
Disney.
kinds. I've been to Disneyland more than you have, just a humble flex.
How do you know?
I actually don't know that, but I think that's what you're getting at, is I've more recently been to Disneyland as an adult and been more excited about it, I guess. Is that what we're going for?
No, it's just so funny that every time you go to LA for New York and you want to take a few extra days after your work stuff, which I'm always like, absolutely. But I'm like, there's all these cool bars and restaurants you can go to and stuff, all these things. And you're always like, well, I'm going to Disneyland by myself.
It's happened twice.
Twice is still twice more than I thought.
hadn't been in 14 years when those 2 occasions happened.
Okay, I'll let it go.
I love Disneyland, was there recently at the time of my life.
Okay, I think from counting them all up, I've been 5 times.
I think
one Disneyland twice, but to a few, because I've done Tokyo and I've done Paris.
Same. So I think I've done 7 times in my life, which is a lot. I'm aware, but also that increased rapidly in the last 3 years. I hadn't been to any of them in like over a decade.
Yeah,
and then in the last 2 years, I was like, you know what's fun? Disneyland.
Sorry, it's the most magical place on earth. It actually is. You know why?
It actually is.
It's beautiful, it's fun, and all the bathrooms are clean.
Oh my God. We could do a whole segment of me telling you how Disneyland stays in tip-top shape. Because I also have seen all the documentaries.
Do send us there to broadcast live from the park, and we will do the episode for you.
I've watched all the documentaries. I know all the things. I'm all across the fun facts.
Okay, the Expo.
Point being, we love Disneyland, but also we really love Disney movies and TV shows.
I only listen pretty much exclusively at Broadway and then classic Disney songs.
Yeah. And so the D23 Expo is an experience you and I would like to live out at some stage in our lives.
Yeah, Disney.
I'm going to book in my annual leave now. I'm going to go next year.
Put us on the list for next year, please.
But it is described as like the ultimate fan event, and they really do mean that across like Disney adults, like the type we were just discussing, who love the parks, and Disney adults who love the content. Because on the first day, one of the things they get into is like the park updates. So like there was huge announcements about like there's going to be a Villains Land coming to Disney.
Obviously, I care about that.
You and
so
I got to
much.
go to that. Yeah.
I did not know you were going to do park updates in this segment.
No, I was just saying that as an aside. I'm just saying, maybe we have some listeners who are like, hey, those girls really just told me that Disney was fun and now I want to go. Wait for Villains Land. It looks so
wait
good.
for the Villains.
Wait for that. And that's going to be in Florida, and like there's going to be a whole Monsters Inc.
I have not been to that park.
There's crazy stuff happening. I haven't been to Florida either. Tina and LB, take Florida.
Oh my God,
I can see it
yes.
now.
I want to go to Florida so badly.
Okay, but outside of Disney park discourse, there were a lot of surprises and special little events throughout. So it did go for 3 days over Friday, Saturday and Sunday, the D23 Expo. And one of the things that I did send you straight off the bat on the weekend was that they had 10 of the Disney princesses singing together to sort of celebrate kicking off D23, which was really cool. So it was like Brandy, who was in that like 1990s Cinderella. She was there singing. They had Jodie Benson, who did the animated Ariel, and they had Halle Bailey from the live action Little Mermaid. So they sang together. And we had Noni Rose as Tiana. So there was like all of these iconic women who voiced Disney princesses singing together, which I think that was your favorite moment, I believe.
It was. I'm so glad I was in the privacy of my own home when I saw that and not at work, because I cried. I'm tearing up thinking about it now. I cried a lot.
And she's trying to accuse me of being a bigger Disney adult.
Since Wicked, but before that, like The Walking Dead or Avengers Endgame. That's usually what I cry at.
God, she is actually crying.
It's just those women have shaped my entire life.
Like, I know.
They're the one. That's the soundtrack of my life, those women.
Yeah.
From when I was a little kid, I still listen to them every day now. So seeing them all on stage together, I just got really overcome.
Yeah, emotions
I'm getting
running
overcome
high.
now. It's too much.
It was actually so good. And then Cat's Eye performed I Won't Say I'm in Love from Hercules to honour Susan Egan. And I've been playing that song to you all day now, which has been really exciting.
One of my favourites, and also one of the best love stories, if not the best love story in all the Disney classic movies. I said what I said.
I think you're wrong. Anyway.
Cool. Okay.
I love that song. I love those two. Not the best. Lisa Kudrow and Mira Sorvino dropped by and they were in costume and also like method acting in character as Romy and Michele to talk about Romy and Michele 2, which was very exciting.
And that was the first time we'd had proper detail about what this sequel is going to be about.
Yeah.
First of all, Mira Sorvino doing the classic Romy voice. I cried again. Honestly, I was such a mess. I couldn't leave my house.
It was lovely to see like their little voices and everything and the outfits and like them. I think it flew over some people's heads, or just the audio of the laughter in the room was turned down, because sometimes they'd make a joke and I'd be like, why are people not laughing?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because they were talking about Romy and Michele finding love in this new sequel. And I was like, oh, that's where we're going. Interesting.
Yeah. There was a 20 years of Enchanted celebration and Amy Adams got up on stage and sang, which was really, really cute. Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling showed up to talk about Star Wars Starfighter, and Ryan Gosling came out in like a Mickey Mouse Club jacket, which was so friggin' cute. But then he was given a Star Wars jacket and he changed into it on stage. And I think it was really sweet as well, because this will be like a really strong partnership between the two of them for like several years coming up, because not only have they just worked on Star Wars, which is what they were there to promote, but while working on Star Wars, they also worked together to come up with how Ryan Gosling would be portrayed as Ghost Rider.
Yeah, his dream role.
His dream role in Marvel, which is also part of Disney. So like together they're going to be at D23 and Comic-Con events for years to come.
And I do think that's Ryan Gosling's place.
Yes.
Like he's a bit goofy. He loves leading into that stuff.
Yeah.
He just wants to be on stage like with fans applauding him, and that's his safe place, I think.
He said, I owe a lot to Disney. Had they not looked far and wide and come to my hometown, I would not be here today. I'm back and it's changing my life again. I was like, Ryan.
Shut up, Ryan.
So cute. And then Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans and Hayley Atwell showed up to present a new Doomsday trailer. Have you seen the discourse about this?
Yeah. Look, I, on an emotional level, can't really deal with the new Doomsday stuff. Like it's all with the amount of characters they have coming, the discourse around like what Doomsday looks like in this new trailer. Obviously, we know Robert Downey Jr. is playing him mostly throughout the movie, not as Tony Stark, obviously his beloved Marvel character who passed away in Endgame, R.I.P. Talk about crying in the cinema. That's the most I've ever cried in a cinema.
I didn't care.
But okay. But yeah, there's been a lot of discourse around this new movie.
Well, skip ahead 15 seconds on the pod app. Do that little button thing if you don't want to hear this. But there was a theory going around, because when this trailer was released, we've gotten like a bit more of a shot of Doom and there's close-ups of his eyes and people are like, that's not Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
The close-ups of the eyes are like, that is not RDJ, and they think there's going to be two actors playing Doom. And there's going to be obviously like multiple of them, multiverse situation. But like it's interesting to make it that clear in trailers.
Well, he's using the face of Tony Stark to like get under the skin of the Avengers. I'm sure he's going to appear as many other people.
Yeah, but everyone's like, who's he going to appear
Every
as?
time I see someone pop up, I'm like, not even you. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Steve Rogers. Could be Doom.
Could be anyone. And then obviously, look, there were some movie and TV show announcements. I'm going to run through them really quickly, but there was The Incredibles 3, which, I don't know, I guess exciting. I'm not that into The Incredibles. They're fine. I love Edna. She's my style inspiration. Yeah. Love her dearly. Coco 2, I was really excited about. I think that's going to be great. Another live action Lilo and Stitch.
Well, the first one made a lot of money.
It did. But at what
People
cost?
liked it.
Creativity. Zootopia 3, lots of discourse there.
I haven't seen 1 or 2, so I don't have any vibes
Laura,
about
it's
that.
the
But
best
I know
one.
people love it. I know
So Zootopia, and Vernon and I, big fans.
Yeah.
Zootopia 2 made $1.8 billion at the box office and became the highest earning Hollywood animated film of all time.
Oh, no,
so
I
obviously they were going to
understand
do this.
the business behind this. We'll be getting Zootopia movies from now until the day we die.
Exactly. But here's the thing. So they're bringing birds in this time. Huge. And every time they're like, we forgot about this other group of animals. So last time, well, first of all, it was like racism against the fox.
Yeah.
And also like prejudice between like mammals that eat people and, well, they don't eat anyone, but mammals that eat meat and mammals that don't. And that was a whole discourse. Next time they're like, we forgot about the reptiles and we've all been treating them like garbage and they've been prejudiced against. Now it's birds. I will say MV will love this. You won't know what I'm talking about. In the little teaser they did for Zootopia 3, there was a newspaper. And the newspaper came up and one of the columns in the newspaper was a list of our favourite ships, a ranking of the greatest ships by our shippers. Do you know why they did that?
No.
Because everyone wants the fox and the bunny to have sex.
Oh, no, I know that. I thought they did hook up.
It's like unestablished. It's all very confusing. And then I
a
like,
real will they, won't they situation.
we're like, there's a romance there. And then Disney's trying to like shut it down. But then they're also acknowledging that we all want them to be a couple. So something to think about there. There was the new Simpsons movie, the Bluey movie that caused a bit of outrage among Australian mums.
Isn't that great? That's out of everything that came out of D23, the one thing that I sent to all my family group chats and friends group chats was the Bluey trailer. Because that's the only thing that they all care about.
And can I tell you, because I'm a Disney adult and not a Disney child, I don't care. But when
I have your Bluey tickets? I literally have.
You sure can.
I personally have a waiting list. They need to be in Queensland though. I personally have a waiting list of about 20 people who have never asked to see anything with me before, don't care about my job, don't care about movies, who want to go to the Bluey movie.
I know the cultural impact of Bluey. I respect Bluey.
Oh, we're doing a brutally honest review of the Bluey movie. Okay. I've penciled that in. Don't even worry about it.
Amazing. We also had a bit of news like Ice Age boiling point. There hasn't been an Ice Age since 2016. But Queen Latifah and Dennis Leary came by to talk about another Ice Age movie. He's still very hot. Do you know that?
Yeah, I do know that. Also, I'll just take Queen Latifah in anything. So that I don't care about those movies, but I care for her.
I care for her. I care that she has a thriving career. We will also be getting a spooky Pixar moment called Ghost Boy. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say on that.
I can't take that in.
And then also Hexed. So that's a Disney movie you and I were actually keen on because it's got like a witchy vibe, bit of fun. And they've announced Jodie Foster is joining the cast.
Yeah, that's important.
And Walton Goggins. And that's joining the cast already of Hayley Steinfeld and Rashida Jones. So that's like
that is a
A-list
hot ticket cast. Well done, Hexed.
Well done, Hexed. So there, as I've said, there were some big announcements, but I think one of the things you and I loved the most was the presence of the Princess of Genovia, Anne Hathaway. So Anne Hathaway showed up on one of the days to talk about Princess Diaries 3, which I think was good timing considering last week Julie Andrews came out and was like, won't be doing that, sorry.
I know, and people got very upset. And that made me upset too, mostly because every time they do a story about Julie Andrews, they put up like a black and white photo of her.
Stop doing that.
And my whole life flashes before my eyes. And I was like, guys, do not make me think that we've lost Julie Andrews because she's also like one of the founding lights of my life. I also just think she is retired. She's in her 90s. Yeah. I would love to see her in the movie too, but I understand why she's like, no, with all my love and blessings, make the next one. I personally won't be in it.
She's a bit tired.
Yeah.
But so Anne took to the stage to talk about Princess Diaries 3 and she has said like she's pregnant currently. They're in development. Famously. It's going to be a minute.
Well, controversially, depending on who you ask.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. People thought she made that up. Crazy. But she did say being part of the Disney family also means being part of a legacy studio that values the family audience it makes content for. So I guess that was like classy Anne Hathaway speak for like, we're working hard. She did say we're working hard. And she was like, thanks for your patience.
I mean, the woman's put out a million movies this year. Give her a second.
But later in the weekend, she was inducted into the Disney Legends Hall of Fame, which was very cute. And this was alongside some big names. So it was alongside Bob Iger, who was the CEO of Disney for like a long time, Dwayne Johnson, the Jonas Brothers, Lin-Manuel Miranda. So there was 11 people in total inducted into the Hall of Fame. I know this segment can't last forever, but I do just want to shout out Lin-Manuel Miranda because he had like his VHS of The Little Mermaid and he'd written his speech and like he opened the VHS and he basically like to the tune of Part of Your World did his own little like Lin rap over the top of it. And it was just like he was so teary accepting being like honoured in this way and it was so beautiful. And I just shout out to him because I do think he's doing some of the most interesting stuff that Disney has going on.
Absolutely. And Anne, was this the speech where she was talking about never stop quoting like Princess Diaries to me, never stop quoting those movies to me. Like she was like encouraging people to.
Oh, in Anne's speech. Yes. Oh, I'm getting to Anne's speech.
Sorry. Yes.
Emily Blunt also presented The Rock with his like inauguration, and then backstage Emily and Anne had like this beautiful hug, and then it was Anne's turn. So she did bring her husband Adam, great stuff, but she also brought her 2 kids, Jonathan and Jack, and they're like never pictured, never seen, but she brought them with her. She took photos with them as she kind of put her hands into the cement to be like remembered forever as a Disney legend. And she actually mentioned them a lot in her speech as well. So she was talking about like they went to Disneyland the day before, and she was like, thank you to whoever made our Mickey waffles, like we had a great time. Thank you to the people who took us around. But she said that her kids asked her, how did she become a Disney legend? Like, how do you become one of those? And she said, like, you get lucky. And then she gave this whole speech about luck and how, you know, she was so insanely lucky that her first ever film was with a Disney icon like Julie Andrews. She was lucky that Whitney Houston made that film, that Gary Marshall cast her, that like she still has the same agent who got her that audition. And she basically just spoke about how her luck has gone on, and it's been such a privilege in her career. What I thought was really cute was when she thanked her husband, she referenced the Princess Diaries, and she goes, I want to thank Adam who makes my foot pop.
Oh, no, stop it, Anne. Why is it the most romantic thing anyone's ever said?
So cute. And then she was like, thank you to like her kids, Johnny, Jack. And then she held her tummy and she was like, and whatever we're going to call you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And she said, you've made my life better, funnier, more exciting and more magical than any film. And as cool as all this is, us just being us is where I'm the happiest. And so it was just a lovely speech. And then she did an interview with Entertainment Tonight where they just were like, how exciting is it to have your kids here? And she started like crying on the carpet. And then she was like, I need to stop being pregnant while I'm doing these interviews.
Yeah.
She deserves to be honoured as a Disney legend. She is an icon.
Oh, hard agree on that.
Incredible stuff. Another big moment for me personally was the Tangled live action.
Yes,
reveal.
I was excited for this.
Yes. So Tangled is like my favourite Disney movie. It's hard, okay? I can't actually answer that. I take it back. No one asked and I just volunteered that.
Can I say, I know you didn't like my Megan Hercules stance before, but I will also say right up there on like characters who fall in love. Like I believe their romance. Yeah. Like I love Sleeping Beauty. I don't believe those two were in love. They saw each other for 2 seconds. But Tangled is a true love story of our time.
It's so true. And Megan Hercules, don't get me wrong, love. But
I know.
She's like a bit better than him, you know?
Oh, yeah. But that's why it makes it cute.
Yeah. But Tangled, love so much. Once when I was living in an apartment by myself and I was scared to go to sleep, I just watched Tangled every night to have it in the background.
Tangled is soothing.
And that's a little something about me. But for the Tangled presentation, Kathryn Hahn, our favourite girl who plays a witch, appeared because she's going to be playing Mother Gothel in the Tangled live action, which has essentially come about because of fan casting.
Yeah, because fans just wanted her in that role so much. I also think like Agatha all along, her role in that being such a huge hit helped. But I also think that it's one of those times where Disney really listened to fans and they were like, the fans only want her. Because for a while there, Scarlett Johansson, well, she's never officially said she was in talks, but every time she was asked about it, she was like, well, we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. But I do think Kathryn was the right choice.
Because honestly, the only other name being thrown around was Donna Murphy, who voices the original character and is a huge Broadway star.
Which I also would have been okay with.
But it just seemed like something that wasn't going to happen. Yeah. So getting Kathryn Hahn is a big get. And Kathryn kind of introduced a little teaser to the set basically where Australian actress Tegan Croft and Milo Manheim are currently filming in Spain as Rapunzel and Flynn Rider, and we got to see like our first look of what they look like in costume. Those photos have been leaked everywhere of them on set, but it was actually like properly rendered with like the long hair and everything like that. I thought they looked amazing. What do you think?
I was happy with it. I mean, obviously like teasers can be misleading.
And it's not them in character. It's them going, hey guys, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like they were excited and talking to camera.
Yeah, I'm very much reserving my judgment. Well, until we see the first trailer. But even a trailer can be slightly misleading of how something looks. Just think about how like the first Wicked trailer looked to how the first movie looked. There was a lot of difference there. Yeah. So, but I'm loving everything I'm seeing. I'm so on board, guys.
But some people were really hating online.
Oh, well, it's
which
a Disney
I was
princess.
Like, guys, calm down.
Nothing brings out hate in fully grown adults with jobs and like lives and homes. Yeah. Nothing brings out their hate like a live action Disney princess.
Yeah, it was actually wild to me. I was like, all right. I think it looks good and I'll be sitting in the cinema.
Yeah.
It does.
I thought Moana looks good too and people disagree with me. I stand by it.
But it seems like the people in the room all like were saying it was the biggest applause, the biggest gasp. Everyone was excited. It's just people on Twitter. And you know what? They can go away. I do think the buzziest and the biggest announcement of the weekend is the one that we need to hear your opinion on, and that is, I sent you 45 things, and then I was like, calm down, Tina. That is Marvel's announcement of their X-Men cast for their X-Men standalone movie, which is set for a May 5, 2028 release and is directed by Jake Schreier, who did Thunderbolts. And this kind of introduced us to the additional cast members after. I'm saying spoiler alert in case you haven't seen Spider-Man, although this news is everywhere.
Oh, I'm about to spoil that. It's out everywhere.
There's a reveal in Spider-Man, but it was also revealed at D23, so we have to talk about it. In Spider-Man Brand New Day, it was revealed that Sadie Sink will be playing Jean Grey, and that is how the new stars of X-Men are going to start to come into this Marvel Cinematic Universe world that we've built, even though the other X-Men actors are in Avengers, and it's all very it's going to be hard to follow, okay? But we're going to get there. However, the new cast have been announced, and I'm just going to quickly run through them, and then we're going to talk about how you feel about everything. Okay. So joining the cast are Christopher Abbott as Professor X. People may recognize him the most from his role in Girls and being Aubrey Plaza's new partner. And other such excellent projects.
Yeah, he has a lot of other things coming out.
Yeah, he's amazing, but I'm just saying, Girls.
No, I love that. No, that's what we know him
that one
from.
Girls episode. Christopher Abbott is Professor X. I think that's fun. Maya Boyd as Storm, Indy Navarrete as Rogue, Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, Kit Connor as Cyclops, and Adam Driver as Nathaniel Milbury, the villain. He came on video on stage as the cast were all announced, and he joked that he was going to be playing Magneto. And then the crowd started cheering, and he's like, just kidding, guys.
Oh, I think people might have been more excited about that.
Yes, but then he revealed who he was playing, and all of the cast came up together, and they sort of, did their speeches, spoke about being excited. Before we get into your reactions, I just want to preface at the top this one thing. They all met on the weekend at D23.
Oh, yeah.
So they had not all met before. They were not all together for any chemistry reads. There was no point in time where that whole cast was tested out together for chemistry. And that is very interesting to me.
Well, it's because they have to have so much
privacy,
secrecy that often with these like big casts for these like big kind of like superhero franchisey movies, people either meet at the announcement, which has happened to a lot of casts from like Marvel and Avengers before, but sometimes they also don't meet until they start filming.
Yeah, and I don't think it's the biggest deal breaker in the world, but that was the main thing I saw a lot of conversation kicking up on the weekend, as well as people's personal feelings about who could play who.
Makes me nervous.
It makes you a little nervous, but you have to think they've obviously semi-tested people together. It's like there's clips going around at the moment of when Tom Holland did a chemistry read with Chris Evans, because obviously like his Spider-Man first came in Civil War, so he'd done a Robert Downey test, but then they had him test with Chris Evans, and it was like obviously they weren't going to do every single Avenger. So, you're never going to test everyone together, but a lot of people were like, oh, I'm a little concerned that these guys haven't met before, but they're all very good actors. Now on to Laura Brodnick's thoughts.
Okay.
Let's go one by one.
Well, let me just first, I'm not proud of this. On the weekend when you were, obviously I was watching it all like live, but you were sending me, kind of taunting me, some would say, sending me the X-Men announcements.
I was excited.
Sending me messages, and I just couldn't take it in, and I just sent back #not my X-Men. I'm not proud of that. And I don't 100% mean it. I just mean like, obviously like I grew up watching the X-Men animated series and reading the comics, and I think I still think that is 10 out of 10 television, better than a lot of live actions out there.
Yeah.
Also, the newly rebooted, you can watch it on Disney Plus, X-Men animated series, also so much better storytelling, character development, scripting than a lot of live action series out there. I love that. I grew up on like the X-Men, the early, like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, like that kind of.
I know in theory.
Yeah. Oh, it's so crazy. There's such a gap in your knowledge.
Yeah, so I haven't seen X-Men ever.
That is crazy to me.
Any of them.
There's so much X-Men out there. They're not all created equal.
I know. I've never seen any of them. And can I just say,
how are you going to enjoy Doomsday?
I'm not. That's why I'm scared for Doomsday. And I've said it. I don't know how I'm going to catch up on all this lore. And what I will say is the reason I haven't seen X-Men, and this is my own personal failing after this point in time, but the reason I haven't seen X-Men is that when my family watched it, so we weren't superhero people. My mum was like, let's watch this inappropriate rom-com. My cousins came over one day and they were like to my sister, we're all going to watch X-Men. And I was studying for the HSC.
So like
they're all in university, unemployed. No, they were employed.
Do you mean like Hugh Jackman era?
I mean like proper first Hugh Jackman era. I can't talk animation, but they all decided to watch the X-Men and I had to sit inside and study for the entire day, and they were all outside in the living room watching X-Men, having a great time talking about X-Men, and then they watched them all and like I just wasn't involved in it, and it was so stupid. And so I think that tore deep into my soul, and then I've just never watched it.
Well, you need to grow up. It's kind of like you don't have to watch all of them, though. I'm going to go back and tell you which ones
No,
to
I know
watch.
I need to. They seem great. But you know when something is so vast, like if you were to try to get into Marvel now and you're like, I don't know where to start.
Oh, no, I always know where to tell people where to start with Marvel.
I know in theory. I'm saying, don't you ever think, actually you do, because this is how you feel about ACOTAR, which I've finally read, by the way.
No, I'm not overwhelmed by ACOTAR. I just need to
you need the time. That's what I'm saying. I need the time. And I don't
Okay.
have the time to get into X-Men, and I want to. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I'm trying not to yell at you because I know that upsets people listening to this podcast, you and Emily. But I will just say, don't you think in hindsight that watching X-Men would have been better for your career and employment than the HSC?
Yes, I do think that. I think that all the time. I don't think a single thing I learnt in school was actually helpful to me talking about movies.
Okay, so you need to go back and watch like the original early 2000s X-Men,
I will.
and then I'll talk you through the rest.
I will. It's too late for me now. But the point is, you're going to have to speak to how you feel about this cast.
Well, when I said to you I didn't mean it. I didn't say it publicly. When I said hashtag not my X-Men, I just mean that like I'm gonna go see the new X-Men movie. And a lot of the old X-Men characters, I won't get too much of the lore of this because it'll be confusing. We're here for 2 hours. A lot of the old original X-Men characters are going to be in Avengers Doomsday.
Right?
But this is also a new class of X-Men and a new X-Men movie that we're getting in 2028, I do think.
Yes, 2028.
So I am going to hold on to this angst that I have until then, just letting people around me know. And so we have a new bunch of actors taking on these iconic roles. Yeah. And when I said not my X-Men, I just mean like I guess I've kind of already had mine. And
I've seen
I'm
that
not
sentiment.
super on board with this iteration. I'm going to give them a chance and see the movie, obviously. But
what for the people, why aren't you on board?
It just, first of all, the ages.
Okay.
Sorry, they're children. I know like Sadie Sink's in 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
So the X-Men are like in their 30s and 40s. Maybe some in their late 20s, like that kind of thing. But they're meant to be full-blown adults. That's why in the original X-Men movies, it was Hugh Jackman. It's not that they had to be super old, but it was like Hugh Jackman, Famke Jameson, Halle Berry, and they aged down. Now, this is controversial. Like, I love Anna Paquin. Obviously, she's been in many things I love. Susan Stackhouse, shout out. She played Rogue in the movies, and that was the one thing that never really worked for me is because like Rogue is one of my favorite X-Men character of all time, and she's so brilliantly done in all the animated series. And they kind of like almost like crossed her over with Jubilee, and instead of being this like wild, confident woman who had incredible powers and this love story with Gambit, who was also not in the originals X-Men movies, they kind of crossed her with Jubilee and made her a child. And so that wasn't great. And now it just doesn't feel like...
Is that who Indy Neverready's playing?
Yes.
From Obsession?
Which I think is really interesting because obviously Obsession has been this huge critically acclaimed movie this year. It's made so much money. It's been this breakout hit that no one predicted. Yeah. And she is incredible in it.
And she's been doing interviews saying how much she would love to be in this franchise as well, which is really interesting.
And well, she was so good in that movie and everyone's like, whatever she does next is going to be huge. Like everyone wants her. She's also such an incredible comedic actress, but she's also a great dramatic actress. So everyone's like, which way is she going to go? And I did see like there's been so many rumors about who was going to play these characters because they're like the hottest ticket in Hollywood of who's going to be the new X-Men. Yeah. And apparently they've been casting, they've been meeting with people, like a lot of actors have been going for that role. So when I saw that Indy had been cast as Rogue, it's huge for her, thrilled for her. I'm going to reserve my judgment till I see it. Yes. But we've never had a proper... Again, love Anna Paquin. She just wasn't really playing the correct version of Rogue.
Right.
We've never had a proper live-action Rogue. Okay. And I hope she can do it, but I just don't know. I don't know.
And back to the thing you were saying about the ages, because like Samara Weaving, Sadie Sink, and Kit Connor, their three characters are in like a love triangle, right?
Well, it depends. There's different iterations.
I've just
of the
seen
story
that's another
stuff.
complaint I've seen with people being like, what, like Samara's the right age, and then the other two are like 23.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jean Grey's also a lot older. Like they have crazy aged her down.
And Cyclops is who Kit Connor's playing, and he's also a bit older, right?
Yeah. No, they're all meant to be a lot older. Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men. Sorry. Like obviously he gets challenged sometimes, but sorry. How old is this actor?
Kit Connor, my diva from Heartstopper, I think 24.
Yeah, no, love him in Heartstopper. Love him and other movies. He's great. Is he Scott Summers? No.
Really?
Like, well, obviously, the thing is they've already done this. They've already done the whole aging down these characters.
Because that's what happened with Jennifer Lawrence and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, but they were playing the younger versions of them.
No, but then you had like...
See, I can't speak to this. I'm making shit up.
No. Again, we've already done this where we've aged the X-Men down. That's why Sophie Turner played Jean Grey.
Yes.
And I accepted it at the time because I'm like, oh, we're looking at a new version of the story where she's aged down so much than she has been in some of the original comics and TV shows.
Yeah.
And then obviously they had to age down Scott. So like Ty Sheridan played him and they aged down Storm and Jubilee and stuff in the later movies. So we've already done that.
Right.
So I don't know. And again, no hate to Sadie Sink.
Yeah.
But I'm not understanding
where
the vision of her being Jean Grey, except they feel the need to age down these characters.
Okay.
When that's not this only story they could be telling is what I'm saying.
What I find interesting, and you may not be able to answer this, but just quickly. What I find interesting is how do they choose to, like, because this cinematic universe is combining so many different comic books and like even things like Spider-Man is Sony, but then he comes into Marvel and Disney.
Yeah,
all that
he gets
stuff.
visitation rights.
He gets visitation rights. How do they decide to go like, okay, we're bringing X-Men back, but these other X-Men characters still exist? Is it just all the multiverse? That's what gets me. That's where they lose me because it's too hard for me and I'm sorry that I'm too stupid to understand it. Tina is dumb allegations. They will remain till the day I leave this podcast.
No, you're not dumb. It's just like obviously in the comics there's all different iterations, but like the early 2000s Hugh Jackman movies I guess were kind of the closest to like what I kind of grew up with, like that age level, that storyline, a lot of those relationships and things. And then when they did the whole like they aged down Professor X and Magneto and Mystique, and that's how Jennifer Lawrence played Mystique. That was a whole other iteration in a complete separate world. It's kind of like with, maybe this won't help you. It's kind of like how we had the old Fantastic Four movies and then we had the new Fantastic Four. So, that's just different actors.
But then it is. But then they're letting Rebecca Romijn be in Avengers Doomsday, so it's not different.
Yes. So
that's why they've confused me because we just pretend the other Fantastic Four didn't happen.
Yes, but so what's happened is the multiverse in the Marvel Cinematic Universe has scrambled. Everyone used to sit in their own timeline, their own franchise.
Yeah.
The multiverse has scrambled it all together.
And that's why I don't get it.
That we can have crossover. So we're going to see how that all plays out in Doomsday. My understanding is that this is going to be a separate X-Men franchise as well that's going to have its own world. So you won't have like a Halle Berry coming in to be Storm the way she was Storm in the first iteration of the movies and then the second iteration of the movies because of the timeline jumps.
Yeah.
We also had time travel in the last X-Men movie that really mixed things up.
I think if you really understood this, like I know you do, I'm saying me, the universal you.
Yeah.
If you really understood this, I see why it would be so much fun. I love complication, but I can't. Like Marvel's so lost me, and I'm trying to claw my way back, but I'm like, I just don't. I don't know where I'm at.
I'm holding X-Men and Marvel very separately in my heart and mind right now on a personal level. Is like go and do all your Doomsday,
and like
multi-universe stuff.
I loved Thunderbolts so much. I loved the recent Spider-Man. Oh my god, it was incredible. But they brought it down smaller again. It's when you get me out into these multiverses that I forget what's happening. I just think that the
X-Men is such an incredible story. It's such incredible characters. It should just be its own
universe.
It should be its own like live action TV show, The Cowards, high budget, in order to tell the depth of the story that is needed. Like I said, how is the animated series doing this better than all of the like the top tier movies at Marvel, the storytelling and everything, just nailing it every time? It shouldn't be like a footnote in this story. It should be its own big thing. And no hate to these actors. Like I said, I obviously still invite me to the premiere. I'll come. But I just
you're reserving. You're a bit scared.
I just feel like maybe they're going for what's marketable instead of what's good storytelling.
Interesting.
That's what I'll say. And being like, we're getting all young, hot people to come in and play these characters. When a lot of them, the joy of them is that they are tired, they are world weary, they have seen some shit.
A superhero we can all relate to.
Yeah, exactly. Bring back tired superheroes. That's all I'll say on that. But yeah, anyway, thrilled and excited to see what's going to happen.
Great.
Okay, we're still going, guys.
And would you believe the conversations kept going in the ad break?
Yeah, oh my God, guys. Again, I will start talking about X-Men, but in my heart, I'll always be thinking about it. Anyway, someone who I think would love X-Men is Nicole Kidman because she's a fan of lots of things.
She loves stuff.
She loves stuff. And hey, she's been in some superhero movies. And I think going forward, she'll be in more.
Interesting.
But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about today is her new British Vogue cover story called Where Am I Going and What's Next? Nicole Kidman is keeping her heart open. Lovely. So the interview was done by Giles Hattersley. And every time I see Giles's name in the covers of this magazine, I think, yeah, you did have to be a British Vogue journalist. Isn't that like the perfect name?
That's a great name.
Yeah.
It's not like Tina Burke and Laura Bronick. Oh.
No. We're going to stuck here for the rest of our lives. Our names did not lead us to bigger things. And so then the long line is the long-awaited sequel to a fan favourite movie. They're talking about Practical Magic 2, obviously. A newly single life to ponder, the Euro summer to end them all. Has Nicole Kidman ever been more spellbinding, is the question. And the answer, just to skip ahead to the end, is no, she's never been more spellbinding. Before we get into the interview, which there's a lot to say about that, what did you think of the cover? Because when the cover first dropped, there was much discourse about it.
I mean, I think British Vogue does the best cover anyone could ever do every single time. The covers are sensational every single time, in my opinion. This one, it's like the cover shot was like Nicole in a hallway and like it's just very like this is not what she's doing. But she's heading out for the day.
Yeah.
You know, that's the story we're telling. This is Nicole in this beautiful fancy home. Here she is. Isn't she gorgeous? And she's like cool and casual, but also so beautiful.
Well, according to the interview, she does head out for the day quite a bit. We'll get to that. But yeah, it was interesting because the cover came out and there was this huge reaction. A lot of people thinking she looks fabulous and gorgeous and
I thought that.
Glamorous. And she does look all those things, but obviously it's kind of like a very edited photo. And then there were people saying it's too over edited, it's too unrealistic. She looks like a doll. People like, I couldn't tell who she was.
What?
Did you see the Kylie Minogue allegations? Two very different Australian women. I thought there was an interesting conversation at the same point that the US Vogue cover came out with Kaya Gerber, but also Homer Gear.
Yeah.
So the son of Richard Gere, the daughter of Cindy Crawford, those two kids were married in the 90s. Their parents, not them.
Yeah.
They're not related in any way, shape or form.
Yeah. But they are starring in The Shards.
They're starring in it in the new Ryan Murphy TV show, The Shards, together. And that was interesting because that's got a lot of pushback. That new Vogue cover of people saying, what is Khloe Mal? And then by extension, because she's still kind of in charge.
I don't blame Khloe Mal for that because that's been US Vogue for years.
Yeah, exactly. But I think she was copping a lot of the heat for it.
She would be.
Because it just looks like the two of them against a grey wall. It looks like we could have shot it in this studio.
90% of their covers currently do. I'm not being mean. Well, I am being mean because that's a mean thing to say.
It is a mean thing
I'll
to
own if I'm being mean. Sorry, that was mean of me. But what I mean is like I don't blame the individual team doing that stuff. That is coming from creative direction because the British Vogue team and a lot of the international Vogue teams have set like their standard for photo shoots at heavily editorialized or like just like really beautiful set locations and all of that. That's not always within a magazine team's like budget or process or like what they're told to do. A lot of them are like, no, we're shooting in studio and like they've got like grey and white backdrops in a lot of the recent Vogue covers and they're not great.
Yeah.
And so they do get called out for it every single month. And what often happens, like you said, is they get dropped at the same time as British Vogue. Especially crazy is when there's similar cover stars like 1 or 2 months after each other and they get held up and compared to each other and people are like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, exactly.
And I just thought
that was an interesting take as like they're like US Vogue needs more whimsy. It needs to feel not attainable. It needs to feel like magical and otherworldly. And then Nicole Kidman's British Vogue cover comes out and everyone's like, oh, she looks too magical and otherworldly.
I just thought she looked like Nicole Kidman with a blowout and a smoky eye.
Yeah.
Because that's what she has.
I do think that's the kind of mag covers that we grew up with, like highly Photoshop stylized.
Yeah.
But they're meant to like this fantasy.
Yeah. So while the cover she is in like a very beautiful polo and like jeans, a lot of the other photos that you're talking about that are a bit more like whimsical and like it's staged very well is like she's in like a green tweed jacket and skirt in one part with sunnies and her hair's like really blown out and huge and like she's in a red dress in one with her leg up on the car and like again the hair's huge in every single one. She's got a leopard print coat on that's really fabulous when she's sitting in a library. Like it's all very very fat. I would almost say very ab-fabulous.
Yeah. There's definitely ab-fab tones there. So it starts off the interview with our friend Giles rushing to meet Nicole Kidman at a members club and he's early, but Nicole Kidman's earlier. Nicole Kidman would hate me because I'm early. And
I did love that anecdote. It was so good.
What about when they're going through what she's wearing and she can't remember where her pants are from? And so she goes, take a look. And he has to like pull her pants up and like look at the label. To see where they're from. And she's like, bet you've never done that before. And she's clearly loving every second of this.
Oh, she would be.
Because that's like the element of Nicole Kidman. It's like she's being like flirty, not in a sexy way, but just like I feel like she's got a flirty demeanor and mysterious, and she's commanding attention in the room, but she's also being like really friendly, and she knows this, and in her head she's like, this is going to play so well in the magazine, and it did.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
So I want to start off with a revelation that I know that you really loved.
Yeah.
Is that they got into, because obviously Nicole Kidman, she's been traveling. She's been
summer.
Bopping around Europe, having the time of her life. And then it goes into this section of the article and he writes, so seriously, what does a Nicole Kidman night out in Ibiza even look like? And she said, it's a small dinner party or it's a rave. I'm either playing Scrabble or I'm out. It's that simple. And then he said, which is an excellent follow-up question, and this is where journalism comes in. He then says to her, what does the rave option entail? And she said, dinner at 10:30 p.m, club at 1 a.m. I'll put on glasses. Sometimes I'll wear a wig to hide, a little dark wig, and then I can just dance. As long as I'm surrounded by people, like people I take with me. So she's like,
I liked that clarification.
She's like, not commoners, disgusting. So fair. She's like, people who are like in my inner circle who I've vetted and I know are like bathed and safe.
Yeah.
And she says, I take people I know with me, then I'm fine. I need it.
Yeah.
Thoughts? I know you are quite interested in the idea of clubbing with Nicole Kidman.
I'd love to go clubbing with Nicole Kidman. I just love that girl so much. Like, it's so Australian to be having a Euro summer, first of all, because when aren't we in Europe? You turn a corner in Europe, there's someone in a flip-flop talking with an Australian accent. And Nicole's amongst us. And I just love the idea of her like secretly raving with her little wig and her glasses.
But also she's so recognisable that
she's the tallest woman in the world.
If you walked into that room, you'd be like, hey, that's Nicole Kidman in a wig.
Also, she wears a wig all the time, so she's always in a wig.
She always wears a wig.
So it's like...
Which I understand, all actresses wear wigs, you have to protect your hair.
Yes, but Nicole Kidman particularly always
wears a wig, yeah.
And often a wig of different types for roles. So we know what Nicole Kidman looks like in a wig. We also know what Nicole Kidman looks like in sunglasses and a wig together combination. So if you're on the dance floor and the tallest woman moving in like these ethereal movements is like in sunglasses and a suspicious bob wig, you're like, that's Nicole Kidman.
And in my head, she's doing the dancing sequence from Practical Magic, the original movie, by the pool.
And also, she's danced so much in cinema. We know what she dances like.
We know what she looks like.
So you would know it's Nicole Kidman, but you'd kind of have to play it cool.
I'd give her space.
I would just love
also,
to
she's apparently surrounded by a group of people who won't let you
Well, she's surrounded by pals. And it was important that she let us know. She's got friends. But it was just, I loved it. I'm like, what a small tidbit into her life. She didn't reveal much about her life, but she did reveal that she goes clubbing and I want to join. Bring me with you.
Yeah, I think Nicole Kidman and I, now that I'm in more advanced age, would club the same.
Yes.
It's like private car, cool club, bottle service, but also just on the dance floor till the early hours.
Yes, we'd be partying and like no matter the tune, it would all be so fun. Like I just want to go.
Well, you never know where life's going to go.
And I also saw people saying like, oh, as if she'd be out clubbing. As if she wouldn't.
I believe that woman's out clubbing. Yeah.
Like, calm down. People of any age can club.
Yeah.
Get with it. Anyway, sorry, that's just an aside for me.
No, that's fine. I love this episode has become us defending people in their 60s because she's about to turn 60 who want to go clubbing and Disney adults.
Let the women club.
And I think there's a through line there.
Through line, let people have fun. Stop being haters. It's actually so annoying. I'm so sick of everyone.
So she also talks about divorce. There's a sharp left turn, but that's where I'm taking us. Because obviously last September she filed for divorce from Keith Urban.
Yep.
And she obviously does not go into that, which is not surprising at all. She talks about like wanting to put her feelings first, and she says that's just who I am. I don't overthink things and I'm not that analytical. I'm far more feeling center and I lead with my heart. I just go, okay, what do I feel here? I'll give it a go. It throws people because I think they think I'm more measured and I'm not. So here's an interesting thing about Nicole Kidman and why she is one of the most powerful celebrities in terms of like sort of controlling public perception, having just like this constant interest in her life, but always coming out on top. Like Nicole Kidman's always on top.
Yeah.
Whether she's doing a commercial, even a movie that flops, what she wears on a red carpet. She's so aware of pop culture and the news cycle, but never in a way that feels like she's playing in it, always in a way that she feels like she's above it. And what's interesting there is like that's a lot of words, right? And I cut that down.
Yeah.
There's more words there.
Yeah.
She said nothing. She always says nothing. She says so much. She feels like she's giving you so much, Nicole Kidman, and then she actually gives you nothing.
Yeah.
She gives you clubbing in Ibiza, what brand are my pants, I was divorced once, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
I leave with my heart and then she's out of there.
Yeah.
This article is thousands of words.
Yeah, thousands of words. And I loved every minute of reading it. And you're right. And then you walk away and you're like, oh, Nicole Kidman, what a girl.
And that's the thing. Every time and she is interesting. I love her thoughts on filmmaking. Yes. I love the way she talks about working with female directors. Like she's really walked the walk in that.
Yeah.
I love when she talks about just like, storytelling, characters. I find her so interesting. But I do think that people want to know about her personal life, who she is, what she thinks so intensely. And she does a lot of interviews, but she's so good at never giving us anything.
Yeah.
But making you feel like that you got a little part of her.
Well, yeah, you're right. Like when she wants to talk about filmmaking or anything like that or talk about what she believes in, like she will say plenty, but you're right. Like she says words, but not much. She's talking about her personal life. It's very interesting.
She's really good at giving little sound bites.
Yeah.
Of things that go viral, but don't touch her personal life or her brand in any way. I mean, her self-brand, because she famously doesn't put her name on brands.
Obviously, when her and Keith were like happily married, she over time started to say more real things about their personal lives. But even then, it was quite measured in how she wanted to roll it out.
Yeah, she's good at going on a red carpet and being, again, you never get the sense that she's reading it, but she knows. She'll be like, I read the name of the script Baby Girl and I thought, I want to be the baby girl. Then she just walks away and all of a sudden that quote is everywhere.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, we love our Nicole.
And we
really
do.
Clever. And we 100% we do.
Yeah.
What was interesting though is she did bring up she never said Tom Cruise's name obviously or anything about their kids or family or married life, but she did mention being married, which is something she never does. But maybe because she's coming now out on the other side of the Keith Urban divorce, it felt like, and people want to know about that so much, it felt like there was almost like a safe space of time for her sort of to allude to this marriage without her getting pulled back into any crazy Tom Cruise headlines, because she's talking about kind of growing up quite shy but having to like live in this crazy life where things are out of her control. And it says here, and while talking about like her past life, she lets out a whistle of fond disbelief and says, yeah, I got married so young. Recalling her decade with Tom Cruise. So they got married in 1990 and then divorced in 2001. And then she says in this interview, suddenly I was 22, 23 years old, and I had this huge movie star husband. But it just seemed completely natural. We just fell madly in love and it was that simple. I remember people saying to me, okay, well, this is really going to affect your career. And I was like, I don't care. I'm in love. I want to be married. And so then I was his wife and they were like, see, we told you. And I'm like, so what? I wasn't meant to marry the man I love. Of course I'll throw my career away. I don't care. And that, for her, that is a lot.
Yeah, that's
I've
very
never heard
personal.
her talk. I mean, obviously she talked about Tom Cruise like that when they were married. They would be like, we're madly in love and people cared a lot. But she has never said anything like that in the years that have passed since their divorce.
And I remember diving into it when I was looking into some stuff about what Katie Holmes has obviously... We don't know, but we assume there's a lot of NDA involved in the Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise divorce because what she has and hasn't said has been very specific. And when I was looking into what Nicole had said about their relationship and stuff, she'd actually said some, like you said, word vomit salads of like not much but something about Tom. Like she'd never come out and said something really mean, but also came out and kind of just said some like wishy-washy things.
Yeah. Very Nicole Kidman-esque. But I do understand it because one, they're divorced, so there's obviously legalities there.
Yeah.
Two, the Church of Scientology would be involved to some extent because Tom Cruise was very much in the church at the time.
Yep.
And three, and probably the biggest one here, is that there are children involved. So while she and Tom Cruise were together, they adopted two children, Isabella and Connor. And we'll never really know what happened there, and that's fine because it's very kind of private family stuff. But Nicole Kidman was pictured with her two eldest children. Obviously, she also has two daughters with Keith Urban now. She was pictured with her two eldest children after the Tom Cruise divorce, but it over time became less and less and less, whereas they were pictured with Tom a lot. And then all these stories came out, like crazy tabloid stories about Nicole Kidman not being in her children's lives. Stories came out, allegations, no one's ever said this, allegations that her children had decided never to see her because of the Church of Scientology and she was an oppressive person. Nicole Kidman has never commented on anything like that. She has said publicly that she loves her two older children. This is a while ago. She hasn't talked about them for a while. But only because they're full-blown adults now, so it would seem weird to like continually question her. And I also think she would probably with interviews have a hard line in the sand that she's not talking about any of that stuff, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But she just said like, I love my children. Yes, they are Scientologists, but like I'm their mum.
Yeah.
And I love them. And that's all she's ever said about it over the years. So I feel like she never wants to really delve into Tom Cruise, into that life, into any of that sort of stuff. One, because they're both such public figures and it would just blow up to such an extent.
Yeah.
And two, because there's kids involved.
Yes. But I do think it's crazy that both Nicole and Tom have maintained such a high level of celebrity and we never see them cross paths.
Yeah.
Like it's wild to me because, you know, we see a lot of other very famous Hollywood exes constantly at the same events, constantly like flashing to each other at awards shows when the messy camera people want to show their reactions. I can't think, I'm sure it's happened, but I cannot think of an event since their divorce where I've really seen Nicole and Tom crossing paths in a room in any meaningful way.
Yeah, I guess it would really only happen at something like the Oscars because
but even then I'm like, I don't even think I've seen them at a ceremony together.
I don't think it has either, and I'm sure that it's probably not going to happen. But that's the only kind of event that would cross over because he is like, he goes to his own movie events.
Yes.
And he goes to the premieres of his like anointed ones. Like he'll go to a Glen Powell movie premiere.
Yeah.
But Tom Cruise is not an event boy, whereas Nicole Kidman's an event girl.
Yes.
She goes to all of the big celebrity events. She goes to the award shows. She goes to those sorts of things. And so she's probably happy knowing that he's not going to be there. But I don't think we're ever going to see them like Jennifer Aniston, Brad Pitt, like doing an arm grab on the red carpet.
Yeah, well,
and I'm okay with that.
Ew. But I do think it's interesting that she said this. Like I wouldn't have expected her to mention it. And it's interesting that she sort of said it in a conversation about her life in this way of like of the perceptions that she's faced in public of people like telling her not to do that, not to marry Tom because she'd be just seen as his wife and like maybe put her career at risk, but her wanting to do it anyway for love. I think that is a very Nicole Kidman thing. And that was the thing that upset me a lot when it was announced that Keith and Nicole had split.
Yeah, you were upset about that.
Just how outwardly she always talks about in her wishy-washy words that you've mentioned, she always talks about love. She always talks about like finding happiness and all of that. And so it's interesting that she chose to bring that up in this interview.
She's a romantic. I just think she's probably like, God damn it, like I'm about to turn 60. I'm one of the biggest stars in the world. My career is like unparalleled in terms of like the breadths of like different movies and success stories and the fact that she's been acting for over 40 years. She's probably like, if I can't talk about being married at 22 and what I learned from that and what I hold on to. And also the fact that like it's nice when you're as you get older to look back at a choice you made when you were younger and be like, everyone told me not to do that, but I stand by it.
Yes.
Like, yes, they got divorced, but they were married for 10 years. They had 2 kids. And
her career is thriving and it didn't suffer the consequence.
Yeah. And I think that, yes, if you're Nicole Kidman, you can kind of be on Vogue whenever you want, but even Nicole Kidman has to give a little something.
Yeah.
Like, she has to sort of weave something in.
A little
and
tidbit.
that was, and she obviously doesn't want to talk about Keith Urban because she obviously alluded to it in here, but their children are still quite young. It's still kind of fresh.
Yeah, so fresh.
Fresh that it's been out in the public eye. So this felt like a safer thing because no sane person is going to start a rumor that she and Tom Cruise are talking. You know what I mean? Like no sane person's going to do that.
Us Weekly is typing it up as we speak.
Someone out there thinks that, but like, whereas there are still rumors about things like happening between her and Keith and what their relationship is, it feels like the door to Nicole and Tom is like so firmly closed that she can comment on it now.
Oh, that was crazy.
Hope that people won't be weird about it. Except us. So, obviously, like when I say that she said nothing, I just think that she said nothing because that's
in a real movie style way.
In a real old school movie style way, who just knows what she wants to let out. And I think it's a real superpower that people of all generations are so enthralled with Nicole Kidman and she just doesn't have to do
and
anything crazy.
Every news outlet, myself included, on Friday last week was running stories about Nicole Kidman at the club. Yeah. Like you said, she can
What was your article? I want to go clubbing with Nicole Kidman.
I think
it was that simple.
But like, I think, like you said, some of her red carpet, some of the one-liners, like she can say anything and everyone's like, run with it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
She's a star of a generation.
Well, exactly. She can be in a commercial. It becomes a viral hit. She can say something on a red carpet. She can go on like the Lost Cult Teresa's pod and
Tweety Bird
and have a meltdown over Looney Tunes. Everyone's like, we love her. She's perfect. It's a superpower. So obviously we didn't get to talk all about the Vogue profile, so we'll link the full article in our show notes. It's worth the read.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to The Spill today. Make sure you guys are following us on all of our social channels. We will pop all of the links into the show notes. We will be back in your feed bright and early tomorrow morning with Morning Tea, hosted by Ash London. Bye.
Bye.